everyone, it's Sal here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So today I am finally going to be trying a fragrance which I've wanted to try for ages. I keep hearing lots about this fragrance and I'm feeling fairly confident that I'm going to really like it. So today I'm going to be just giving my first impressions and sort of a review, I suppose, but I haven't smelt it before, so it's going to be more like a sort of first impressions type thing of the fragrance Amouage Sunshine, the Eau de Parfum for women. So if you saw my video where I tried a few niche samples, like Amouage samples and things like that, if you watch that video you'll know that I haven't really found an Amouage fragrance yet that I actually really like. So so far I have tried Blossom Love, I've tried Epic, there's plenty more that I do want to try, and I definitely want to find an Amouage fragrance that I love. So yeah, this is my sample of Sunshine that I have here. I got this from Notino. It's a 2ml sample and it looks like there's quite a lot of juice in there to me. So what I think I'll just do is I'll spray it onto my card, and then maybe I'll then spray it onto my skin later. I'm not sure though, because I've just done a few videos and I have lots of different fragrance residue on my skin, so I don't really want the different smells to get all mixed together. So I'll spray on the card first anyway. Wow, that's really interesting. I think the thing is with Amouage fragrances, they're all quite complex from what I've experienced, and I'm not very good with complex fragrances in general. Like if they're either, well, the complex fragrances in themselves aren't that big a deal, but if they're also challenging. So I think some of the Amouage fragrances, not only are they complex, but they're also slightly challenging to the nose sometimes. So those kind of fragrances aren't always for me. Okay, so that smells really, really interesting, you guys. What I'll just do, I'm going to read out the notes of this fragrance. So we have almond, blackcurrant and artemisia. I'm not quite sure what artemisia is, to be honest. Then we have osmanthus, vanilla, magnolia and jasmine. Then in the base notes we have white tobacco, papyrus, juniper and patchouli also. I think I definitely get the almond for sure. So initially when I first sprayed it, as I say, I got like a tropical fruity blast almost, but that didn't last very long. It's definitely settled down a bit more now. And something that I find immediately interesting is if we look at the main accords described on Fragrantica here. So they've got them listed in order of the most prominent ones. So the first one I list is the most prominent to least prominent. So they're saying it's fruity, floral, white floral, almond, vanilla, woody, aromatic, soft, spicy, nutty and sweet. And I would say that's more or less pretty accurate, apart from I would have maybe put nutty further up in the list. I would say that the nuttiness is actually quite prominent in this. There's definitely a creamy kind of sweet fruitiness, I guess, coming from maybe the blackcurrant mingling in with the almond. I'm starting to understand the comparison people have made to this smelling like an apricot kind of fruity tart, or like a creamy, fruity sort of dessert. I do see that, but it's not limited to that, if you know what I mean, because this has complexity to it and it has depth. It's not just an apricot creamy kind of tart, it's not just that, it's got a lot of depth to it. Yeah, this is a good one, you guys. This is a good fragrance. I can understand the hype around this one. The first ones that I tried from Amouage, I really was not, I could understand that they were nice, but there was, for example, Blossom Love, I really did not click with at all. And the Epic one was just too much for me. It was an Oud and Rose, really, really loud fragrance, and that's just not my kind of, that's not the kind of smell that I would ever go for. So those two were kind of fails, I suppose. This one's much more interesting and I think it's much more wearable. This is like a wearable fragrance. The Epic one wasn't that wearable for me because it was very loud, very obnoxious and arrogant smelling and very, very dressy. The Blossom Love, yeah, the jury is still out on that one. I was pretty scathing about it when I gave my first impressions in my niche kind of video. I was very scathing of it. I didn't have good things to say about it at all. I am kind of testing that one more though, and I do think it's actually better than what I said initially, so I might come back to that one. But yeah, like, but this one instantly isn't challenging at all like the other two were. So, you know, for example, Blossom Love, when I first smelt that, I was just so turned off by it. I really didn't like it at all, and the Epic one was too much. They were just very challenging to me. This one is not that challenging. I would say as it's drying down now, perhaps what I'm getting more of as well is that white kind of tobacco leaf kind of notes, and it's not smoky at all. It's just like a fresh tobacco leaf, like a white tobacco leaf kind of smell, adding such a sense of intrigue to this fragrance and something really quite different. Yeah, that tobacco note is really quite prominent in here, I would say, for sure. I don't get much of the jasmine. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so they're saying this osmanthus. I'm not sure what osmanthus smells like, so I wouldn't know either way. They're saying this vanilla, magnolia. Definitely not getting the jasmine, really. Maybe a tiny bit, but it's not really that prominent. I'm getting the white tobacco, and luckily the patchouli in here to me is not that obvious. Sometimes fragrances which are quite heavy on patchouli can come across quite screechy to me and just really annoying and off-putting. This one is not like that. Yeah, really interesting fragrance. Very pleasant as well. I look forward to wearing this one more. Those are my sort of basic first impressions though. I can definitely, yeah, I've still got fragrance. I tried to wash it off, but I still have like the smell of fragrance on my skin, so I really can't spray it on my skin. I don't want to spray it on my skin until all the previous fragrance has completely gone, and then I'll be spraying it on my skin and testing it further. But certainly I would say this is a very pleasant fragrance. I would maybe say that, like, you know, the comparisons people have made to the kind of creamy, fruity dessert, I would say I would downplay that slightly, to be honest with you. It's not quite like that to me. There is an element of that, but I think because it's not juvenile at all. This is a very refined and grown up, quite mature kind of fragrance, and it's not all like sickly sweet like a dessert. It's not like that at all. I would say that white tobacco note really balances this and like gives it something extra that makes it quite unique. Yeah, this is a very creamy, quite sweet, balanced fragrance with notes of the white tobacco. I would say that blackcurrant note is quite noticeable as well, so it's a little bit fruity. Quite a voluptuous, cloudy, feminine, white floral heart to this fragrance, I would say. So like the main body of the fragrance is like a voluptuous kind of white floral scent, but overall it's creamy and sweet and a little bit fruity and very unusual, but it's not challenging. So it's unusual and quite complex and different and things like that, but it's not like challenging to the nose. So I do think that this is one that more people would be able to enjoy, as opposed to some of the other ones that they've done that are just too challenging to some people, certainly too challenging to me. I think what I might just do is I'll spray a bit on my skin, just because I do want to see if it's, because sometimes it can smell a bit different on skin, so I am just going to spray my skin. Because I washed off the majority of my previous fragrance, but wow, that tobacco note is strong on the skin. It's much stronger on the skin actually. If you enjoy vanilla notes, tobacco notes, fruity notes and white florals, then I do think you would love this for sure. It's very creamy, it's sweet in a very grown-up, mature and sophisticated way, quite complex but easy to like. It's not challenging, and it's very interesting indeed. I am so glad that I finally decided to just order a sample, because I've been really intrigued by this fragrance, and I am still really interested in the Amouage house in general. Like, I do want to try more, and I also want to come back to the ones that I previously kind of reviewed, particularly Blossom Love. I do want to give that one another chance, because I think what it is about that one, I'll leave a link to that video up here by the way, so I would check that out just so you know what I'm talking about, because in that video I was really scathing of it, because that was literally my first impression, and because it was so complex, and the thing is I'm not used to fragrances like that, so because it was so complex and it really caught me off guard, I really didn't like it, and I was very scathing of it. But what I think it was is just because the suede note in that was quite strong, and there were just notes in there that I'd never smelt before, and I didn't quite know how to take it. So I am going to revisit that one as well, I think, just because I think that actually has the potential for me to grow to like it, even though I was extremely scathing in my first impression. But yeah, the Amouage house has definitely got my attention at the moment. I'm really intrigued by it. I think, wow, that is really unusual, you guys. Like, wow. Really nice fragrance. Definitely kind of like, I see what they mean with the apricot creamy, like creamy tart dessert thing. I see what they mean, but it's not limited to that, if you know what I mean. It's a portion of it, it's an aspect, but there's definitely more to it than that. It's not like a gourmand, it's not like an edible dessert kind of fragrance, but there is an aspect to it which is reminiscent of like an apricot tart, but it's definitely very heavy on that white tobacco, like that fresh kind of, it's not like smoky, but it's like a fresh white tobacco leaf note in here. The vanilla, the black currants as well. You guys, this is really nice. It's a really nice fragrance. Very interesting indeed. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out my many other fragrance videos if you are interested. Subscribe to my channel for more perfume videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.